Hey everyone, it's Andrew from GemTCG here, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a whiteboard style video where I show you my pricing strategy and go through kind of how it works and why it works and how it helped me scale to a six-figure eBay store in less than 2 years. So this video will just kind of break down everything about it and how you can replicate this into your eBay store so your business will succeed and you will make more sales as well as make larger profit margins. So stick around to the end of this video to get all the important information on how to properly set this up, and you will see how powerful this could be for your store. Also, if you need more help and more direct help in starting and growing your eBay stores, I have a Patreon, and the link is in the bio and the description, where I will help you kind of do that and help answer any questions you may have. But let's get started with this video. First, I will explain the concept of it, and this is how it goes. So let's say a card is $100 today, and I will pay anywhere from $60 to $80 for that card. Now, most people would say, okay, this card is worth $100. I will list it on eBay for $100, and then it will sell maybe within a month. But if it's a popular card, maybe even sooner. And after fees and shipping and promotions, which is now it's becoming almost like a necessity on eBay, you will be left with at most like 10% profit, maybe even less, sometimes 5 to 10% profit. And after doing this for a while, I realized that doing all of this work just to make 5 to 10% profit is not worth it at all, because it's very time consuming. And if you get hit with one return or one person saying it never arrived or one package that gets lost, you will lose out on so much. So that 5 to 10% profit will not help you recover from that. So you need to make higher profit margins. And the way I kind of figured out how to do this was to just simply price your cards at a higher price and be in it for the long-term sale rather than the quick flip with a low percent profit. And it is pretty simple, but a lot of people think it just doesn't work, because if something's worth $100, why would someone pay $150? But what they don't understand is that after a month or two, or maybe even longer, that $100 card will not be $100. And if there are 100 cards listed when it first comes out, there will probably be 20 cards listed 3 months down the line. And this is because supplies run out, people start buying cards for their collection, and they don't want to sell them again. So the supply of these cards on the market that are readily available becomes a lot slimmer, which means there's a higher volatility in price. So let's say when the set first comes out, everyone has their cards priced at the same price or around the same price, because they all want to get that quick flip and quick sale. So it's almost like a race to the bottom. But when the items dry out and there's less cards available on the market, there will be someone listing it for $100, and then there's someone listing it for $500, just because they are willing to just have it listed for a very high price. And I know 500 is an extreme, but it's just an example. And the way this works is because if you buy it for 70%, which is $70, and then you list it at $150, even though it won't sell right away, and you will have to wait like a few months, maybe even a year, if it's like a really low demand card, you will be making over 50% profit margins. And you might think, okay, I can't wait to buy a card and then sell it a year down the line, which is a valid thought. But if you think about it in the long term, if you keep repeating this cycle every month or every week and buying cards and then listing them, eventually that year will hit, and then the prices will keep on updating, or your inventory will keep flushing out and repeating, or like rinsing and repeating. So I buy a card today for 70, sell it a year from now for 150, and then I buy another card tomorrow for 70, sell it again for 150. And then it's like each day that sale keeps coming in from the inventory that you bought a year ago. So a lot of the items I'm selling today are items that I bought last year and like 6 to 12 months ago, which have led to me selling cards for 2 to 3 times the price that I bought them for. And which is why my store and sales and inventory has increased so much over the year. So I know it's kind of hard to understand it verbally, so I will try to demonstrate it on a whiteboard and kind of draw it out. So for this example, I'll be using this Charizard card. And let's just say, for the sake of easy numbers, let's say it's worth $100. So you have a $100 card. In today's date is 2/9/2025. So let's say I bought it at 70. Then I will list it for, since it's a really popular card, Charizard, secret rare, I would list it for 150. And then this is typically how the market price would go in around a year's time. So like it'll be $100 right now, probably be 200 after a year. Or let's just say 200 after a year. So start 1 year. Now, because I bought it at 70 and then I hold on to it and not try to get that quick flip, I can wait it out until it hits 150. And even if it's below 150 over here, so let's just say this is the 150 mark, even if it hits below 150 here, some people might still pay 150 just because they really like the card that you have listed. Let's say it's good centering or really clean and really minty. People will pay more for that. Like a lot of people I charge a higher price and people pay higher because they assume that it's because it's a really good quality card. So don't be afraid to list higher, because people will see the value in the cards you have and are willing to pay more. And this is an example of a card that just gradually increases. But let's say you had a special illustration rare like this one that went from $8 to, I think it's like $40 an hour, something crazy. So if you bought it for $8, or no, if it was $8 at one point and you bought it for probably like $5, and then over time it hits to 40, the scale, or like the graph, kind of went like this in a way. So you would have seen it hit here, and then you'd been like, oh, this card is increasing a lot in price. So if you had it listed at like, if you bought it for $5, had it listed for like $13, and then you see it kind of shoot up to $10 really fast, you would be like, okay, this card is spiking in price. There's probably a buyout happening. You would have time to react and say, okay, if this card is getting bought out, I'm going to list it at 20 now. So you can update your pricing before it even reaches it and before you get caught in that buyout. Because this has happened to me a lot of times where I will be listing cards at market price, but then a buyout would happen and I would sell it, and I check the price again and it's worth like 3 times the price that I had it listed for. So that feeling sucks. So you're going to want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So that's another benefit of having your cards priced higher than market, because it will give you more time to adjust to buyouts and price spikes like this. Like that specific Cleffa card, I had it in my inventory, and when I saw it getting bought out, I raised it to $20, and then I saw it hit even higher. It went to like 15. I'm like, okay, this is going to keep happening. Let me just try it out and list it at $50. And I was willing to just wait and see that price increase, and then it eventually did sell. So something I bought for $5, I sold for $50. And if I had priced it at market price and just kept it at, let's say I was selling it for $8, it would have sold right here during the buyout. I would have had no time to react, no time to increase the price, and I would have been losing out on potentially $42 worth more of sales. And now this is just one-off scenario, so let me show you kind of how it works in the long term and how the cycle can be repeated with multiple cards. So I'm not really sure how exactly to word this and draw it out, but hopefully it will make sense in the end. So let's say in January I bought $100 worth of cards at 70% market price. So I paid 70 and it costed 100. And this is in January. So that 70 stays the same. That price did not change because I paid 70. That's a flat price. It won't, like, what I paid does not change over time. But this $100 will slowly increase over time. And what I mean by the $100 going up over time is that the market price of the cards that I bought will be going up over time, not that the $100 will be going up over time. And then let's say February, I bought another lot for $70. 100 cards, paid 70. Again, 70 stays the same. The 100 continues to go up in price. So if I keep doing this, let's say for a full 10 months, just for easy numbers, I paid 700. That total price would be 1,000. 700 stays the same. And then the 1,000 continues rising. So that 700 will probably end up being $2,000 worth of cards after a year. And as you could probably tell, if you keep repeating this cycle, this line continues to go up and your cost stays the same. So if you were to pay 70% of this price, it would have been $1,400. So instead of paying $1,400 for something, you're paying $700, and then the price just keeps increasing. So as long as you buy stuff, list it for a high amount, and then rinse and repeat that process for a long time, your store inventory will increase by a lot, and your sales will start to kick in after half a year to 1 year, because this $1,000 price that you listed at $150 will eventually sell over here. And now this won't work for everyone because a lot of people simply they can't afford to just buy a card and then let it sit for a few months or a year. And I understand that that's a pretty long time to wait. But if you are in this for the long term, then you kind of need to be willing to take that, to wait for that kind of sales increase, because I'll be honest, my first year, I probably made like $10,000 in sales, which is still a lot, but it was nothing compared to this amount where I was making, like the last year I made 200K on eBay just from selling singles and barely any graded cards. But that wouldn't have been possible if I wasn't willing to buy cards and then list them for a higher price. Because getting the quick flip is nice and all because you get that immediate, kind of satisfaction, dopamine rush from getting a sale. But being able to kind of hold it out, wait for the prices to increase, and then get that sale after a few months is a lot more rewarding. It's less time consuming and way more profitable, because instead of 5%, you could be getting 50%. You're putting in the same work, same time. You're just willing to wait longer. And in my store, this kind of worked very well for me because, especially with a lot of the alt arts from the Sword and Shield era, last year they were pretty cheap compared to what they are now. So I bought a collection of like 20 alt arts for around like $4,000. And then just for fun, I kind of like checked back on it to see what it was now versus what it was when I bought it, which was $4,000. And it was worth like $11,000. And because I was using that pricing strategy from when I first bought them, I had them listed at like 1.5 times the market price. So when the buyouts were happening for the alt arts, I kind of was a step ahead and was able to increase my prices before it reached that 1.5 times market price. So I'm still left with like a few of them today at like 4 times the price that it was when I bought them. Like today I sold a Rayquaza VMAX alt art for $750, which was at the time of the sale $50 above the market price, but I bought it for like $100 or $200 last year. So it is a very rewarding pricing strategy, and it does work if you are willing to just be patient and use the list it and forget it type strategy rather than the hyper focused list it, fight for the sale, race to the bottom, and just do that method. I don't think that's a good method to do. And I think it's way too time consuming for way too little of a reward. So yeah, if you want your store to increase in inventory, make more sales, make a higher profit margin on your sales, and just put in the same amount of work but for higher dollar amounts, then you are going to want to use this strategy. And if you want to make quick sales and make less profit, then you will want to just use the typical sell it at market price or below market price, make 5% profit, and just do that. It's up to you, but at the end of the day, I think this strategy is better. and it has worked very well for me, and I think it will work very well for you all if you follow it kind of how I said it and just be patient. And if you have any more questions about this, or if I didn't explain it properly, please let me know, and I will try to clarify it in the comments or make an updated video to explain it better. If you need more help growing your store, like I said, I have a Patreon with the link in the bio and description. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope it will help you make more money in your reselling business. But yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow with a new video. Bye.